Hey Alfred, how's it going? So today we're probably going to have a rather long episode. We have quite a lot to cover, so I'm just going to get on with it. First, we're going to start with Joaquin's room, the pool room, which, as you can see, has progressed quite a bit, and it's starting to look really cool. And he added this glass ceiling, which we'll inspect in a minute, and this volumetric light, so you get these all light shafts coming through. I think it really adds to the ambience, especially the shadows and everything look really cool, and it just fills the entire environment with atmospheres. Like this part here, you get the light shafts coming in, and I don't know, I think it just makes the pool look much better than it did before. The same for the materials. Like now you can actually appreciate the detail they have. I don't know, I think everything just looks so much better now, and it's starting to be pretty nice. So let's see, I want to try to cover everything Joaquin has made for this. So he told me to show you the pools again because he's been polishing them. I think you can see in detail such as these little edges here, which look really nice. I like the way they highlight from or even from afar. And he's added a few other layers to the pool to just make it all feel more polished and detailed. The same with these. Like I mentioned, I really like the look and the materials, and especially the quality of the textures. I think it's really cool, and usually games don't tend to look as first-person games don't tend to look very good at 4K resolution, but I'm hoping that, yeah, well, we might be able to look good at such high resolution. So here we have the big pool here, which has this really nice edge here, and now you have the full Olympic pool over here, which looks really great, especially again with the new lighting and everything. Just I like these edges here with the other small edges on each side. I think that they create a really nice sorry, contrast, and with the pool edges. And I don't know, everything is just starting to look really cool. So I wanted to cover also, well, the ceiling is still a work in progress. It's not textured, but the model itself, it's really nice. Especially, I really like the reflections. He's just using a reflection probe, but it really, the reflection feels very accurate on both sides actually. Here too, you can see that it really feels like it's reflecting the wall. I don't know, I think it's a really cool effect. He also has these pillars here and they go into the ceiling. I think also this transition here from different types of ceilings, I think it's really nice. And then he also made these walls, which, to be honest, I think it's one of my favorite assets on this level so far. Especially like the design of these little windows here, and like with this little detail over here. I think I don't know. I really like them, especially the way they transition with this pillar here. And I like the material on it, like the plasticky feel it has. It's really nice, and also these guys here. I think these are pretty cool. So moving on, we also have the locker room. Well, actually, before we get to the locker room, he's been working on the walls, and as you can see, he tried to maintain the same style for the rest of the level, and it's starting to look really cool. So I think that once that we have a few other lights, to create some contrast, we might be able to get this to show off a little bit more. But yeah, these are pretty great. Uh, there's a few more on this side here. I like the color patterns there. They really feel like it's something that will belong in a pool, I guess. Yeah, all right. So let's go to here to locker room. So this one's also lovely. I really like this scene, and there's a few things in particular that I really like this exposed air conduct here, and especially the way the cables and pipes sort of go around it, and it makes it feel very tight together, as like it's a unique scene, and this is a nice metal material. And yeah, these corner pieces are pretty great. Let's see if we can find one that's more visible. Well, I guess this one, but yeah, these are really cool. And I also like this ceiling with these lights. They feel very oppressive, which is kind of neat, I think. And he also worked on this pillar, which ended up looking really cool at first, and we were having some issues, but he used color contrast to try to lead the eyes a little bit, give you some resting space, and I think that it worked out really well. And of course, he had these benches here that you can use to change. And the idea is that eventually there's going to be things like uh, well, I can't remember the word right now, but where you used to dry yourself, and you also have like bat rows and things like that that will be hanging around. I think that will add some more life to the environment. But in general, yeah, I think this is all pretty nice. I like the hinges there. As you even have a soap dispenser. And one thing that I've been thinking about lately is glass, and mainly how will glass react in the game to getting shot? Like, will we be able to break the glass, or will just get like like a glass decal on it, and that's it? Because I wonder if we have to keep in mind when we're building them, and just a general question that just came up. But yeah, so this is I think that's pretty much covers everything so far, but I think this is really starting to come together and look really well. So yeah, I'm gonna switch to the fitness room now. Just pause this. I'm going to turn the camera away. And well, this loads and here. So this is the concept of the fitness room. And one of the key elements that I was trying to preserve was that it seems like this is a vertical space mostly. It's composed of several floors, which has this kind of hole in the middle. So you can see that it has 8 floors. So I wanted to keep that, and I wanted to give each floor a different purpose and give them some variety. So this is what I came up with so far. Right, here we go. Sorry. All right, so the idea here, and this is what the lowest floor currently looks like, and just go all the way up to 9 different floors, and you have this weird little detail here, which eventually is going to have the number of the floor on each one. You have like 1, 2, 3, and so on, all the way to the floor 9, which is the top one. And you also have a little logo with the, well, sort of the type of exercise that you can do in that particular floor. So each floor is themed, and you'll be able to see that they have color themes. You have like these blue ones first, then there's red ones, and there's finally green ones. And the idea is that each one has a different purpose. So this right here will be the entrance to the level, and it will be a reception area. So I'm hoping to have a couple of desk here, and maybe here you'll have a resting area with some couches and things like that. And you can see that the walls here, this is something that it's repeated in all floors. And on each side you have these wavy walls that have the color of the theme of this particular floor. And the idea is that this will have also a decal, but it's going to be pretty large with the name of what the floor is for, and the logo. So for example, this one could say reception, and then you have another one that says aerobics, or you know muscle buildup or something like that. So that's kind of the idea there. And I guess that before I begin the tour on each floor, and I wanted to cover the walls, which is something I mentioned. So I've been working on these walls for quite a long time. I spent like 2 or 3 days just working on the wall material alone, which is quite longer than I usually spend on this kind of thing, but it's been kind of a really neat process, and I learned a few things that I think I'll be able to make them better and faster the next time. But the idea was that I want to create a lot of sense of damage in this level, because in the concept art everything looks really worn out. There's panels missing everywhere, so I wanted to recreate that. So you'll notice two things. First of all is that all of these panels have like these cuts, and these are all removable. So I haven't made the piece that goes underneath, but the idea is that some of these panels are going to be missing or broken or just like laying on the ground, and you'll be able to see all of the pipes and different details in underneath. And we can get an example like that with these ceiling panels I made. So these ones they are all in perfect shape. But if we get over here, you'll see that some of the panels had fallen, and you'll see details exposed in there. You have like these cables and cable boxes and machines, and the idea was to create something that was fairly modular, so I can try to create different damage on every level. So that's the idea that I want to extend to the walls. And these lights are also removable, so they have like a little back end that they are fit into. And I haven't made it for this video yet, but my idea is that in some floors I wanted to have some of these hanging around, and you should be able to like push them, and just move the light and so on. I think that will be really cool. But well, the general idea is that the same way that these panels can be removed, these panels on the walls will be removable as well. But anyway, the one thing I wanted to cover about the material is the damage I made for it. So the idea here was to create damage that felt realistic, and also that made it feel like these walls were made of several layers. So like the idea is that as it gets burns, uh, layers underneath get exposed. So the last layer is this sort of isolation material with these metal braces on them, and then you have like a second layer that is sort of all burned out, and then you have the final layer, which is this metal layer over here, which is the one that it takes to expose the environment. So all of these I had to more or less sculpt this in a way manually, but it was pretty fun, and I made quite a few variants, and you'll be able to see them as we go up in levels. But yeah, there's quite a few of these. And also, this is just silly piece, but I really like these pillars, so I just wanted to show them off. All right, so I guess that we'll start going up in these stairs. And another thing you'll notice, we'll cover that in a second, is the handrails. That's another element that I want to have broken pieces. So maybe here these pieces will be like bent and broken, and maybe you have like a few pieces of handrail on the ground. I would like to do that as well. But anyway, so on this first floor we have this sort of basketball court, which was in the concept, so I sort of tried to recreate, the general idea on it. So we have, the basket over here and these balls, which I actually really like. I think these came out pretty great. Try to make them quite high quality. And right now they're just, a prop there, but eventually I think it will be really cool if these had physics and you can like push them around. I don't know. So here, the idea is that on each floor over here, you're going to have a resting area with, garbage cans and the drinking machines and a few couches, so you can just chill. And another thing that I wanted to mention is this corner here, which is repeated on each floor. So this is going to be an elevator, and the idea is that on this side there's going to be a window that just like shows you the elevator shaft, and here you'll have the door, which will be larger than this one here, which I haven't shown. So here it is. I quite like this door as well. I think it has like really high texture quality, and these are pretty great. And so yeah, so the idea is that you're going to have the elevator here, and well, the idea is that the elevator doesn't work, so I want to sort of force players to kind of go up, one level at a time. So the idea is that you go through here, and since you can't use the elevator, you gotta sort of go, all the way around. Maybe here you'll have a few enemies or, boxes with loot or whatever, and then you get to up to the next level and so on. And I was thinking that maybe it was cool if, say, maybe this stair was broken and it fell over this one, so there's two floors that won't be accessible, and the way to climb will be to use the elevator shaft. So I was thinking that maybe it will be really fun to have something kind of like that. So, if you can, let me know what your thoughts are on that. But yeah, so you go back to this level. I haven't really decided what activity will be done here, but let's just keep going up. And now we start get to the red area. So the idea is that this area is to build muscle mass. So here, this is just, well, it's not the best placement. I need to add more items and things in here, but we have these little machines that you can sort of like hop here and do leg presses, I think. And these are all, and for all of these props I use the Mika character model as a reference, so she should be able to fit into all of them if we, I don't know, wanted to make animations for it or something. But yeah, so these machines are pretty boring actually. I should add more variety here, but uh, I'll work on this area later. But here's one that's cooler. So here we have these, I can't remember what these are called, sorry, but I had to check them out to make sure that, since I don't really know how how these machines work, I wanted to make sure that I get them right. So I used a lot of reference for these, but I try to keep the quality and the accuracy quite high. But the idea is here you can like push this thing with your legs, and you add some weights in here, and that's the way you do exercise on it. And I think that this looks really cool with the red light in there. I think that this could be a nice place to have some sort of mini boss fight or something. Like you could have like a really strong guy here who kicks your ass. I don't know, but and here we have a few other machines. So these ones are for lifting weights. So I try to make all of these models really high quality in case anyone wants to inspect them and check them out. And let's see what else. So we have, oh yeah, there's a whole bunch of these weights. We have this dumbbell weight rack here. You can't quite see it, but all of these are different, and they have the number of how much they weight. And yeah, I think these were all of these. All right, let's move on. And so this floor, I haven't filled it up. I haven't made the props for it yet, but I wanted to have sort of like a boxing place. So maybe I will have a little ring either here or there. And I want to have like a few punching bags and, those little baggies that hang and people punches, that sort of thing. So this is the last one of these. And then we get into the green area, which is more of like a, exercise aerobics kind of place. So you have like these uh, static bicycles that I try to make all of the machines of the same brand and team, so they feel like they were made by the same manufacturer. In this case, is this Runero, and all of these were made by another company, and so they're different different style, as you can see. And these were called, and doesn't this one doesn't have a name? This one does, I'm sure. So these ones are from Get Buff, and these ones are from Ranero. And Ranero has this thing that you can tap on the screen and connect. And I'm guessing you play like a little video game that keeps track of you and whatever. But yeah, I try to make these machines accurate and high quality, since the players will probably be able to zoom in it. So you have like a little cup holder and whatever and everything else. And here you can see like a panel that fell and sort of moved one away. And true story, I have to export each color of these textures individually, and there's 13 of them, so that took quite a while. And here we have these elliptical machines, which I love. These are based on an actual design. It just made a few changes, small ones, but it's a really cool machine and also really weird shaped, which haven't really made shapes as weird as this. So again, same logic there. But yeah, I think this elliptical machine looks pretty cool. And so here's a few others. Try to move their placement so it feels like people has been running around and pushing things over. And then here we have these treadmills, which also follow the same logic. I have a little cup holder there. Again, same brand, whatever. And not sure if maybe we could have these animated, but the UVs are made in a way that it will work. Let's see. So here we have a few more bikes. This one is definitely blocking the way, so I'll have to remove it. And over here, oh yeah, so we have the more of a yoga area. So we have these little yoga mats here, and here's a whole bunch of them piled up. And here we have this plastic exercise ball, which I think looks really cool. I like the way the facets reflect different things. And again, if we go this way, we have steps, which, well, whoever was using it didn't have a great day. Step it up. And more balls and things. And then the final floor, which also have a few other of the same machines. I don't think there are any new ones here. No, but these ones flip to the side. And yeah, so I'm not sure about this part here. I quite like the way this sort of a golden wave, as I call it, extends over to the ceiling, but on the concept art, instead of that, we have this sort of like a little uh, space with windows on it. So, if you want me to change the design and add it, that there's no problem. But yeah, I think that pretty much covers all of the things that we've been working on. So I hope that wasn't too long. But but yeah, I quite like the way this environment is coming out. I hope that you like the way that I ended up making it as well. And let's see what's left. So as I mentioned, I'm missing a few exercise machines, to add a few more to add more variety here. I wanted to make the couches and all of the things that belong on the reception area. And I also need to make the back places here to so I can have these panels removed and expose the inner details like this. I need to make the elevator shaft, the windows, and the doors for them. Sorry, and well, I wanted to make more debris, like things broken and pieces and things like that. As I mentioned, I need to make these handrails broken as well, and I think that's going to be pretty much all of it. At least everything that I have planned so far. And it would be nice if this had hinge physics as well. And I wanted to make this one hang. That's I think it'll be cool. They have all of these lights have a rather subtle light cookie, so I was hoping that when it moves, you'll be able to appreciate that instead of being a red spotlight, it has the shape of the light. But yeah, I think that's all I can think of, so I'm not going to take any more of your time. Oh yeah, last thing. So my idea is that on this layout at least, this is the way you get in. You have to go all the way up into the exit over here. And I don't know, I think that going up is a fun concept at least for this level. And here we have the fitness, no, sorry, the locker room. But I'm not sure if I will make that accessible. I think that, I don't know, I can recycle some of the assets that Joaquin is doing, but let me know if you want that to be accessible or not. But yeah, that's it. So thank you for everything, and let me know if you have any questions, if you have any requests, or any feedback at all. Later.